Paul voted to leave the European Union. Your party is the most unashamed pro-European party. How did you win Hull?
Well, I mean, what's clear is Liberal Democrats have always been open and transparent about our positions on these things. But what we've seen in Hull is that where you have Labour councillors who take people for granted, the Liberal Democrats can win seats. And in this set of local elections, we're very proud that we've won Hull off Labour. But in many other places around the country, we are winning seats off the Conservatives, particularly in our blue wall areas, which are the areas where we're targeting Conservative MPs ahead of the next general election.
OK, now, obviously the Lib Dems have done very well, so credit to you for that. Do you think this could translate nationally at a general election, though?
I didn't quite hear all the question. I think you asked how does it translate for a general election. If that's the question, then the answer is that we'll have to wait and see. The fact is that we have made some really significant gains in places like West Oxfordshire and Wimbledon and Cheadle, and these are all in these blue wall areas. But you have to recognise that in the areas that Liberal Democrats are targeting, there's only around half of those areas that actually have any local elections at all. So we will be looking very closely at the more results that come in later today, but I'll leave it up to some of the election gurus to work out what that means for the next general election.
Absolutely. Do you think now that the Lib Dems are trying to almost put Brexit to bed? Obviously, it was a massively divisive issue, the Brexit referendum, as we all know. That goes without saying. And I don't know how well the old, let's rejoin the European Union shtick would have translated if that's still going to be the case. So, I mean, are you guys hoping to move on from Brexit now and just kind of re-establish yourselves as not a single-issue party, as it were?
Well, Liberal Democrats have never been a single-issue party. We've been very clear about the values that we hold. We've also said that at some point in the future, we think the UK's position is best being in the EU, but we'd only start to campaign for that if we think we could carry the country with us and if we thought we could join from a position of strength. We're not there at the moment. What I think the whole of the country can see is that actually the UK is not in a good position. Our economy is very weak, growth is very slow, inflation is very high, and families around the country are really, really struggling with a cost of living emergency. And I think they're really sick and tired of the fact that this Conservative government are simply not providing any answers. Liberal Democrats have said that we are in favour of a windfall tax, which would be a tax on the big oil and gas companies to help pay for gas bills. But we're also calling for an emergency VAT cut, which would be good for everybody. It would be especially good for those at the bottom of the ladder. It would be really good for small businesses, and it would be good for the economy because it would help to start tackling inflation. So we are putting forward concrete ideas on how to tackle this cost of living emergency, whilst the Conservative government are just sitting on their hands and don't seem to care.